What it do, Hypnobabies? Today I'm going to talk about something completely opposite of how I just graded you, which is calm and relaxation. Also known as, why did I choose Hypnobabies? I'm just gonna dive right in. Hypnobabies is a childbirth preparation course that focuses on self-hypnosis to administer hypnoanesthesia, which essentially translates to painless birth. So that's why I chose Hypnobabies. Okay, so seriously, when we first found out that we were pregnant, I spent some time researching the different options for childbirth preparation. I knew that we wanted to prepare for a natural birth, but since we live in Memphis, our options are kind of limited. So I did some research on the different methods and the availability in our city, and I landed on the Bradley method. There's only one class offered in our city, and I got in touch with the instructor right away. I was like 6 weeks pregnant, and she actually turned out to be pregnant, so that was gonna be like the last class that I would have the opportunity to take. So I started going when I was like 6 weeks pregnant, and I was a few weeks behind, so we kind of just like dove into that right away, and I learned a lot from Bradley. I really did. Like, I learned all about the physiological side of labor and the emotional side of labor. I met a lot of other really awesome, like, kind of natural leaning pregos, which was great. And I learned about nutrition and the exercises that we should be doing to prepare for labor. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, I was also learning about hypnobirthing, which sounds really new agey, and I tend to be sort of alternative. So it wasn't too strange of a concept for me, but I was extremely interested and fascinated by it. And a friend of mine in town has had 3 kids, and she's used hypnobirthing for at least 2, specifically Hypnobabies. And we met when I was really early on, like 6 or 7 weeks. She definitely recommended looking into it. So we went through Bradley, which is like extremely long. It's like 3 months of 2.5-hour classes each week. There was no time for anything else like childbirth related. But after Bradley finished up, I started reading the hypnobirthing book because it was like $10 versus $150 for the Hypnobabies class. And I started becoming more and more fascinated by the idea that instead of just managing the pain like we're taught in Bradley, I could actually avoid it and just feel pressure sensations by using self-hypnosis and hypnoanesthesia. And there were a couple things that really sold me on hypnobirthing. The first being, I watched some YouTube videos of women in their hypnobirths, and I was blown away. I mean, these women are like literally pooping the baby out, and they're just like totally calm. Like, their birth partners are saying, like, you know, trigger words like relax, and they're just like, it was amazing. So maybe it was all like an elaborate ruse where it's a bunch of actors with amateur looking videos that they post on YouTube. But I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that those are like real births and real, just like random ass people just having comfortable births. And I just thought that was amazing. And I highly recommend that you do the same. If you're thinking at all about childbirth preparation, look at like Hypnobabies Birth or Hypnobirth on YouTube, and you'll see some unbelievable videos. So really the other thing that encouraged me to try hypnobirthing for our first birth was the idea that people who are strongly allergic to anesthesia and to pain medications, when they have to go through surgery, they administer hypnoanesthesia through self-hypnosis, which that's pretty cool. So I figured that if people can undergo surgery using hypnoanesthesia, then like I could give birth. And that sort of couples with the idea that if you look around at other mammals, their births are not like what we see on TV. And I feel like fear plays into that a lot. Everyone's first reaction when we either talk about the fact that I'm pregnant or that especially I intend to go unmedicated is that they had a horrible birth story and they want to tell me all about it. And then it's just this like this culture of fear that propagates more fear, and it just becomes this big cycle. Whereas in other cultures that haven't like been enlightened that childbirth should be really painful, they just kind of give birth naturally. There's not screaming bloody murder and, you know, requesting heroin or anything. It's like not like what you're seeing on One Birth Every Minute or whatever those shows are I refuse to watch. So how fear plays into pain in childbirth was described in the Hypnobirthing book in a way that really made sense to me. So when you're afraid, physiological response in your body is to draw the energy and the blood away from pretty much all of the organs and muscles that are not absolutely necessary for your ongoing survival, and focuses on like the heart and the brain and all of the things that you really need in order to stay alive. And this makes sense in an evolutionary way. If you're afraid, that means there's like a mastodon nearby and you gotta go. You gotta go because you left your spirit home, you know? So the focus is on the critical organs, and when you're afraid in labor, the uterus is not considered a critical organ. And there was actually a story in the Hypnobirthing book that one of the nurses, she talked about how she's seen uteruses like literally go white when the mother becomes really afraid. And this is because the blood is going to the heart and the brain, and it works against your body going through a birth. So honestly, the concepts behind hypnobirthing were really attractive to me. The idea that the mind plays a huge part in what we physically experience was very attractive to me. It's something I definitely believe, and I figured that labor would be the same. So that's kind of how I chose hypnobirthing. The promise of basically a labor that was just pressure waves and was very calm was very attractive to me, and I think it would be pretty attractive to anyone. Especially if you've seen Birth Every Minute or whatever. If you talk to anyone who's ever given birth, because all they want to do is tell you horrible stories about it. So you would think that, okay, this is a given. I want to skip all that, right? Then I tried to decide between hypnobirthing and hypnobabies. And of course, we have neither class in town. Hypnobabies seemed like the right option for me because they offer home study, but it's pretty expensive. We had already spent money on Bradley class, so I was interested in hypnobirthing because it was a lot cheaper. But basically, I still have no idea how you really practice hypnobirthing if you don't take a class. I didn't get through the entire book because I, in the middle of it, decided I was going with hypnobabies. I'm the kind of person that really likes clear instruction, like do this on this day and then do this on the next day and blah, blah, blah. And knowing that, and knowing I was looking for like the most complete course that I could do at home, Hypnobabies seemed like definitely the right choice. So once that hypnobirthing decision was made, Hypnobabies worked for me because of the completeness of the package and the availability to do it at home. Given the fact that we can't take the classes locally where I am, I'd also heard really awesome things about Hypnobabies in general, and I was really drawn to the finger drop technique. I was really intrigued by the idea that you teach yourself to go into a deep hypnosis at the drop of a finger, literally a drop of a finger. And when I was looking through forums on the different reviews between Hypnobabies and hypnobirthing, the finger drop technique came up frequently, and I actually saw women practicing it in their hypnobirths on YouTube videos. So I thought that was really cool, and it super worked for them. So I tried to find some ways to learn it online without necessarily doing full Hypnobabies class, especially to just start it early. And I wasn't sure at the time when I would get the Hypnobabies course, but really I couldn't find a whole lot because I think the tracks that come with the Hypnobabies course are so critical, and I wouldn't just try and teach myself that given what I know now. So that's why I chose Hypnobabies. So far, I'm super happy with it, and I'm gonna do reviews week by week, and then overall maybe, and then of course, once the baby is born, I'll let you guys know how it worked for me. So what are you doing for your childbirth preparation? Are you doing anything? Have you heard of hypnobirthing? Would you try it? Have you done it? Just let me know stuff about this in general in the comments. Sorry, I was in some pretty serious hypnosis just then.